Whew. Alright, sorry guys, these are a little difficult for myself to even get through and not just start getting overwhelmed. It is a process for sure. And you will go through the process. And you will go through the process. And the process is right where you need to be. Going through it. Oh, I'm exhausted. It's been a long day. I've had to show much surrender and acceptance in things I cannot control today. Whew. Peace be with you all. Anyway, so betrayal. Finish up on that one. Try not to expect anybody just to do for you. And at first, they have to see progress. You have to really be in it. You know, it takes time for people to be able to regain their trust with you. It's just the way it goes. You know, if you feel some type of animosity or negative feelings when you're around certain people, like, it's just people because they are upset that you allowed yourself to get to that point, and their selfish not pity, but you know, dramatic attention-seeking behaviors will eventually subside, and you know, you will be able to shine through, and people will actually be able to see a change in you. Yeah, betrayal. Betrayal. That's humans are just complete pools of predictability. Like, you can never predict what a human will do. Okay, so with the predator word here, right? Okay. I don't mean it as like some crazy Pizzagate nonsense or that type. Like, I mean, I guess it could be a thing. But I mean, like, people that will see you doing good, offer you some sort of deal or opportunity that sounds really good at the time, but there are ulterior motives, and these people are putting you in a place to make you feel trustful of them. They show you all of everything that you are seeking in these moments because you're vulnerable as fuck. At the end of the day, you just want to be accepted, like, for who you are, where you're at, and at this point, you probably don't have many options. So this is when those types like to swoop right in, and they will pick you up by the talons, or with their talons, and they will lift you to the highest highs. And then the moment that you realize, they will drop you so quick. And it didn't matter, like, all the promises, and it didn't matter, you weren't gonna get left behind. Like, this one is the setup for ultimate betrayal. However, depends on where you're at that point in time, because it'll feel like hurt, and it will hurt, and you'll be upset for whatever the situation is, but, like, ultimately it will be a saving grace. It will be like you were ready to get out anyway, you just didn't really have a way to do it, and they put you in a place to where you didn't have a choice. And, you know, no matter how bad the situation looks like it's going to be ahead, it's better than any situation that you were just sitting in trying to do what you're supposed to be doing. For sure. And in fact, I'll share my little recent betrayal and predatorial story without hopefully mentioning any names. But if the person sees it and they see this, and really, I just don't give a fuck, like, holler, come see me. Like, you ain't gonna do shit, really. So, and I hate to be that way, but it angers me that where I was at, I was made to feel accepted and appreciated and these sort of things, but the only necessity that that person had for me was beneficial for them. That's it. So I was a pawn on a checkers board, and yes, I meant checkers because that's what he's playing. Like, I don't know how he got his pieces mixed up, but motherfucker ain't no king, rook, knight, none of that bullshit. He was a pawn himself, trying to jump checkers with half the pieces missing. So, alright, to get into this, I have to set the tone of relapse, because I thought I was above it. A friend of mine passed away, and something was put in front of my face that I had never done before. And in that moment, like, I had been sober, I was going through a bunch of stuff. This is what I was saying about not putting your trust into people, because at the end of the day, when you're where you're at, you have all these hopes and wishes and desires, and it's fighting you to make something happen, and people feeding you stuff and gaslighting, and man, you buy into it. I did. And I like to think I'm pretty smart, but, like, you have to believe in something or you fall for anything. Right, it met. Yeah, just the timing of all this was a perfect setup for relapse. And I thought I was above it. I had just lost my place that I was staying at. A really close friend of mine and I had decided to cut ties for a little while, and I was staying at a house. No, I hadn't lost my house yet. I was being forced to leave the place that I was staying that was offered to me after the person I was staying with intentionally or unintentionally got me kicked out of where I was living at on my own from, like, all the hard work I had done and actually had my own shit. It cost me my place to stay because they themselves were struggling, and I didn't realize how bad it was. But in and out all night, driving a fancy car, and to my landlord, it looked something like it wasn't, and he didn't feel safe. So I have to respect that and move on. Long story short, that guy said, hell, you can just move in with me. It'll be alright, we'll have fun. So here I go into a place that I really don't want to be put into a position of, because that individual is dealing with their own stuff, and I am way far ahead right now. Like, I don't want to step backwards or be put in a position to step backwards. And either way, like, I didn't have anywhere else to go. So here I go. Like, I go there. And, you know, I maintained my sobriety for quite some time. You know, slipped up once or twice. Well, it wasn't, like, with what I was intending to stay sober on. But either way, like, in that definition, there is no gray area. You know, you're not addicted to cocaine, so it's okay to do cocaine. No. These things will put you into a place to put you back to that place that you really don't want to go. Like, that thing might be okay, but that is definitely going to put you back to where you do not want to be at. Trust me, I'm telling you. So, as time goes on with this, and in fact, like, I guess this could be defined as a predatory behavior as well from that individual. You know, I'm staying over there, I'm going to work every day. This person has lost their job recently, and I'm paying, you know, half of the bills or whatever the case is, up until the point that I realized that my portion of the bills were only to help facilitate his own partying and self-destruction. I stopped paying the fucking bills. And nothing was said for a couple weeks or whatever the case is until it all came to a head. And then it was all of a sudden, you have 30 days. A female of mine's moving in, and I don't know what to tell you. You gotta go. On top of that time, my friend passed away. Like I said, got introduced to fentanyl. Had never done that before. Didn't care at that point. Like, everything was just and the right universal alignment that I was not carrying, and I should have been, because I thought that opiate usage was bad. Man, if you're here and you've just done pills, like, pat yourself on the back, you know, not to say that it's good, but if you did continue to do it, no matter the price or how many you could get or whatever the case is, and you just stayed with that, like I did, I tried to for the longest time, so I got sober, and then like a relapse and went way crazy. Like, I just never wanted to do that before, because I knew that I would enjoy it too much. Like, it was not going to be a good thing. So, anyway, when I relapsed, the feeling that I had, which is a lot of reasons why I have always just done that, like, be involved in drugs, because they're consistent, you know what you're going to get, and they won't fucking leave you. They won't leave you, you know. It might be hard to get sometimes. They might go on vacation for a couple days or whatever, but they'll always be back. You can always go back to that miserable fucking place, you know. There's consistency in it. When shit's shit everywhere else, you can find that little bit of inner peace, because you can just numb yourself. And yeah. And if it gets real bad and you move on, like, then it just becomes a fucking chore, because yeah, trying to make sure you're not going to be sick off of perks is one thing. Trying to make sure you're not going to be sick off fentanyl is going to be life or death, like, to the fullest. People go straight up from having perfect fucking jobs to being on the street, selling their bodies. No judgment there, whatever. I mean, shit, you know, we all, fucking desperate man is dangerous, man. And that sickness that you feel coming off fentanyl, it almost seems very unbearable. And I think that's a lot of the reason why people choose to just keep doing it instead of just suffering for the short term. Like, the long term is better just by sticking with it, versus the short term of all the agonizing pain and suffering, anxiety and depression and everything. Like, it in your mind is better. Like, you rationalize this thought. You can't go to work sick. You can't lose your job because you ain't go to work, because you ain't getting none, so you gonna get some. And yeah, like, that shit is on a whole nother fucking level. And you better hope, if you ever got to that point, which I hope nobody does, man, like, for real, please don't. I'm telling you, don't. That shit has stolen 15 or 16 fucking people of mine, man. Legit. Shit has straight up destroyed and ravaged my whole generation. Very, very, very smart and promising individuals, and extremely proficiently good athletes and skateboarders, sons and daughters, and just don't do it.